March Brain Tumour Awareness Month, and Elisabeth, you've been so kind to talk to us again and help us raise awareness of brain tumours. So everybody will remember you from last year where you shared your story. So I just wondered if we could start by talking about your year and how your year's been for you.
Right, well, beginning of last year, we had another scan in the new year, and unfortunately, it showed marginal changes, and we made the decision, or we were advised that a second round of radiotherapy would be a good option. And obviously, we trust him 100% with every choice and every option that's offered to us. And I know that the extra 2 weeks of radiotherapy is a relatively new offer, and we've kept it on the table for as long as possible. Tried desperately not to use it, and it was time to use that option last year, February time. So we went into 2 weeks of radiotherapy, which was hard work, very hard work and exhausting, same as last time. Back to the usual CT scans, getting the mask made, and then trying to organise life for 2 weeks, knowing I'll be going up and down to London every day. So I put a request out to all of my friends to see if anyone was game for a game of cancer carpool karaoke. If you don't have fun, it's miserable. So the idea was to friends that desperately want to help when they can, but aren't able to bring anything other than a coffee to the table. So everyone signed up, everyone was given a slot, and we Ubered London every day for 2 weeks. And I have some very talented friends. They've got smalls on them, put it that way. So we had fun. Our Uber drivers had a great time. They really did. And we got through it. It was hard. It was hard. I think it's almost worse knowing what's going to happen. It wasn't a shock, but it's, you're going to be knackered. It's going to be hard to deal with the kids when you get home, and inevitable hair loss, which I don't think many people, unless you've been through this and had a treatment for a brain issue, you lose a lot of hair. I mean, I'm not a stranger to it. This is the second time round, but boy, did it fall out. And I was reflecting the sun for a while there. But it's grown back now. It's coming back quite nicely. Questionable some days, but at the end of the day, it is hair. It will at some point grow back. Unfortunately, it's coming back straight. I've incredibly curly hair, but I have a patch of straight hair coming through. I was taking more curls. It's the treatment's worked. It did what it was supposed to do, and we carried on. Unfortunately, another scan. When would that have been? New Year this year, wasn't it? Yeah.
December, probably.
Yeah, December we had the scan. And unfortunately, there have been more marginal changes. So we were advised that chemo, another round of chemo, was a good idea. Again, I trust in the team. It is the right option. It was the right option. So I started treatment around New Year's Eve, 24, so New Year's 24, that's it. So not quite the way I the new year in, but it needs must. I did another course of temozolomide, is that the right?
Temozolomide, yeah.
And it's been bloody hard. The first cycle was awful. Completely forgot that you need to preempt a nausea. So I had a night with my head in a sick bowl intermittent vomiting from 1 a.m. to 4 a.m. I don't think it was awful. Luckily, the kids slept through it. Thankfully, I had my husband next to me, emptying the sick bowl for 5 minutes. Everyone was exhausted, so there was a lot of resting. But finished the cycle. I've already done a second cycle. I'm just waiting now for a scan and the cycle of chemo. But all the while I've been doing this, I have been taking Sativex, which is the cannabis spray that you can get privately. I've been taking that for a couple of years now. I think we're coming up to 3 years. It's interesting. I know you get a little bit high rate anyway. Add it in with the chemo, and yeah, I've never experienced anything like it. That's doing the job. We'll find out in a week. Yeah, in a week, and we'll go from there. But I am coming up to, this year is my 5th year of living with a GBM. So those statistics that you read about, Google, don't Google it, I always say this.
Mm-hmm.
The 12 to 18 months standard general prognosis, I've been coming up for 5 years. And I'm heading into my 40th year, which was my benchmark for this year to get there. Obviously, I don't think any of the family thought that we would be this way. And I'm doing it, and we're going to celebrate it. So I'm looking forward to that. That's not me. I've carried on. I'm training through this. I've seen a lot of people on social media that are going through chemotherapy, and they are training harder than ever in the gym. Back when I was diagnosed, I thought they were insane, absolutely insane. Why would you do that to yourself, suffering the chemo effects in the background? But I can safely say it's helping. It really is helping. It gets me out of bed. It gets me to the gym. I get to partake in the banter, which is mostly usually me that they're cooking, but it's fun. And building my strength.
Is that what you're concentrating on? Is it your strength, trying to rebuild
Yeah, trying to
from
rebuild
steroids and things?
my left-hand side, it gets weaker with chemo. It's heavier, everything's heavier. So keeping moving helps stay swelling at all. And it helps with my mood. A lot of the medication does affect my mental health. So I made the promise to myself I would try this. Back in 2000, when I was diagnosed, obviously I was left paralysed down the left side. I wasn't able to exercise at all. It was a struggle to just walk. Ballooned. The sweat was awful. It was painful. Ripped my skin. I was adamant that I could train from the moment I was back up and walking. So I've trained through that, and the idea was to get stronger in order to, if I should have to go back into surgery, I would be able to get out as quickly as possible. So back in, was it 23, when I had a 3rd craniotomy, I was back in the gym. I was out of hospital within 48 hours of the craniotomy, and I was back within a week. I know it sounds insane, absolutely, thinking about it, I would never end life. But it pushed me to get fitter, to lose the weight I put on, and I didn't want to get back into the situation this time around. And the team at the gym are brilliant. The PTs know what they're dealing with and are watching me every step of the way, and using videos of my situation and what I can do to inspire other people that just if you've been given a prognosis, a diagnosis, it just should stop, and it does make you feel better. It really does. And so I'm I'm moving with it, I'm using it, and it's helping me mentally. So yeah, keeps me going. And it helps try and keep up with the kids. They run after them, so if I can at least move a bit quicker with the arms or something, grab them as they run past. She run circles around me. So.
But that's amazing because, like you say, it's about the psychological well-being as well as your physical, isn't it? And so it's trying to keep yourself well in the ways that you can influence, because there are some you can't because of treatment. But I suppose it's understanding what can you do for yourself, and what have you got control over? What can you influence?
Exactly, and that's what I looked at. I looked all around me. What can I do in this whole situation? You can fall asleep, you can rest, but keeping moving seems to be what really.
And we were talking before we were pressing record, we were talking about advocating, weren't we, and being empowered. And I think it's such an important point to make, because you've been your own sort of driver of your care whilst you've had the team around you and you've had Mike by your side at every single step. You've driven your care, deciding when you need to have things and what choices to make. How have you managed that? How do you feel like you've managed to take that role?
I think it went right back to the beginning when I started having to have the MRI scans. It's not the nicest experience. If you've had an MRI scan, you'll understand it. I had various instances where killers had to be put in, and chemo just ruins your veins. So finding people that trust and know can do the job. So every MRI scan, I learned that explain if you're nervous about the situation or what's coming, tell them. I learned very quickly I can ask them to talk me through a scan. I mean, you're in there for half. Sometimes you might get music. I think I've had music once. Other times you have to just go with it. I always make sure that they talk me through it. My veins are bad. I know it's going to be a challenge. I'll give them a warning. Many times dismissed. Oh, we'll give it a go. I've now learnt to say, can you not just give it a go? Could you please find the best member on your team? Or can you look out for an anaesthetist and put a request in? I know that when my name flashes up, it now comes with this request for an anaesthetist because of the history I've had. But if I don't speak out, the children will spot. And look, I know my body. I know that this is going to be very hard. For my comfort and for my peace of mind, could you please and make the request? I know the staff by name that can do it. So I will ask. It can't hurt. And I will ask for them to walk me through the scan. I've had instances where I've been ignored for an entire half an hour scan. When I've come out of the scanner, I've just turned around and said, I did ask. Nobody listened to me. I'm not mean, I'm not nasty about it. It's just what I need to get myself through that scan, through the anxiety of it all. Because you have to remember that not many of the radiologists will have had this themselves. So they cannot imagine what in your shoes. I'll ask if they put a cannula in and it's painful. I'll ask them, is that correct? Should it be hurting me? 3 years in, I realised actually, no, it shouldn't hurt at all. So I'll ask them to stop. You're quite within your rights to ask them to stop doing something. I had a situation once where I was pinned to the table of the MRI table, and they were trying to put a cannula in. It wouldn't work. At attempt 7, I asked them to stop. they pulled me out of the scanner, I had a panic attack. It was an awful situation to be in, and it affects everything going forwards. You question everything, but don't feel like you can't say anything. You're the patient, it's your needs that matter at that moment in time. And then sharing my bad experiences, I've had some horrendous ones, but I have had some very, very good experiences. I'm hoping that from the pain that, or any stuff I've had on this journey, by sharing it, it will hopefully help somebody else raise their voice or their hand to say, stop, please don't, it hurts. Or just to make sure that nobody has to go through this again. And that's something positive that's come out of this whole situation. I'm more than happy to share experiences with people, but I always hope that it will have a positive effect on them.
Yeah, I think that's so important, isn't it? Because it's knowing what could make your scan better. And perhaps for somebody watching who's had, is quite near the start of their diagnosis and has had a few scans, because you have to have a scan for everything, don't you? You can't get away from it. And more than one of different kinds. For some people, each one can get worse because the fear and anxiety of knowing what you're going to go through can be really overwhelming. So perhaps just hearing now that maybe they can ask to be talked through the scan and which bits they're doing now and what sequences. Is that what you mean, that they tell you which sequences they're doing?
How many minutes to an end? We're going to reach the perfusion now. If you feel any pain, press the buzzer, that kind of thing. I'm petrified of pushing that buzzer because I don't want to annoy them. I don't want to delay anybody else. I want to get in there, get it done, get out. I've only pressed the buzzer once. I think I had a horrendous cold. I'd already delayed the scan because of the cough that I had. I was in there and I choked. I literally choked. I had to push the buzzer. They pulled me out. They were brilliant about it. They knew that I had been poorly, but wanted to get it done. It is very tempting to, I was, can we push it back? But then the anxiety is still there. You've still got to get through it. So push the buzzer and just apologise profusely.
But then this is what the buzzer's there for, though, isn't it? It is there to be pushed, and nobody, like you say, even if they've had a scan themselves, nobody can really understand at that moment what you're feeling within that scanner. And if you need to get out, you need to get out. But the knowledge is that they will come and they will pull you straight out. So
I don't think I've ever seen anyone move so fast when you push a button.
And if you look back over these last 4, nearly 5 years, now you're going into your 5th year, do you have reflections when you look back and think, can't believe that I've managed to get through all the things that you have, or about the choices that you've made? How do you feel when you look back over all of the time?
I think I feel really, really proud of myself. I mean, you tell people what you're going through, what you've been through. The majority of people say, I couldn't do that. I think I could ever do that. I said, I didn't think I could do it either, But once you're in that situation, you fight with all you've got. And that's what I do every day. Sorry.
No, don't be sorry.
It's hard. But
You are here.
I've lost a lot of people to this disease that I've met over the last 4 years. And it's horrendous. I'm scared to make friends with new people. But through this part of my journey, I've met some fantastic people through social media who are going through identical situations. And we keep each other company. If Theo a shout out. She's been amazing, you know. And it's even harder knowing that you've got the kids, because they drive me. Well, they drive me up the wall, but they have given me something to fight for, you know. And everything, FOMO is huge. I'm so scared to miss out on anything. So, yeah, I think I've just slightly divulged off of the question.
No, you haven't. No, you haven't at all.
To advocate for myself, I know now not to wear an underwire bra for my MRI scan. So if you go in with scaffolding, make sure it's no unwiring in it. But it's just, even if you've had this kind of diagnosis, you know, a stage 4, it doesn't mean you're a write-off. There's so much you can still do. And I've kept myself very busy. So I was diagnosed 5 years ago. I called my friend and said, I need to play. I'm a musician. It's what I've done all my life. I'm terrified that this disease is going to rob me of that. So from day one, I put the feelers out to all of my friends, all of my contacts that play an instrument, a stringed instrument. And we started our own tradition. Every Christmas now, we all get together, we all play a concert, and we perform on day. We have a 5-hour rehearsal, and then we perform to anyone that wants to come along and listen. My family and friends. I tend to bring my entire neighbourhood. They all love to come watch, and we raise a lot of money. These are the people that I met when I was around primary school age. We're all this year celebrating our 40th birthdays, and I was adamant that I would be birthday cakes for them, and that would be my gift to them. So I think it's also about finding purpose for yourself. The weeks can be incredibly lonely, the days drag and drag. Making sure I've got things to do, even better if it's other people, it really gives me a kick up the backside. So I've been baking, I've been organising concerts. The Christmas concert is my benchmark for the year. I've already got friends asking me when they can book their seats to play this year. It's become our thing. It's brought all of my friends back together. I think that's the big one.
I just lost your sign there. Just lost that last little bit. Just say that again.
I'm hoping that by doing these videos, carrying on as I am, creating awareness for disease will help. And our concert, raising the money and giving other supporters or other under a very similar situation hope. That is the important thing. That is what drives. It doesn't matter if it's going to help us, it will help people in the future. So every little bit that we can do is positive and gives us all purpose.
Oh, I think that's the most perfect message to finish on, because I think that what we saw is from your video last year that you gave people so much hope, and there was so much gratitude expressed to you sharing your story. And I know there's going to be a huge outpouring of gratitude this year for you giving everybody a lovely update and being so incredibly inspiring. So thank you. Thank you so much for talking to us. But thank you for offering people that hope and your insights, because nobody else can do it apart from the people going through it. No, they really can't. So thank you.
Thank you.